This isn't some motivational speech, it's a hard reset. Because what you're about to learn doesn't just help you cope under pressure, it rewires how your brain functions when everything's falling apart. You won't crave comfort anymore. You'll think like a tactician in the middle of chaos. This isn't about feeling better, it's about not breaking at all. Once you step into this mindset, there's no going back to who you were. You don't survive the storm. You become it. Before we start, understand this video isn't for your entertainment. It's a weapon. A psychological operation broken into 3 parts. In part 1, we'll unlock a brain hack built for a single moment, the edge. Not after the breakdown. Not when you're stable. But in the exact second before your mind snaps. When most collapse, and a few transcend. Part 2 uncovers what no one tells you, the price of becoming emotionally unshakable. The hidden side effects of strength that pushes past the limit. In part 3, that's where we show you how to carry that power without losing the last fragile threads of your humanity. You've been warned. Watch till the end, or not at all. Let's begin. There's a moment, just before everything falls apart, where your mind has a choice: either it breaks, or it rebuilds. It's right in the middle of the collapse, the moment that separates those who stay down from those who rise. This is when the brain hack I'm about to teach you kicks in. It's called cognitive reframing under fire, and it's one of the rarest, most powerful mental tools you can develop. This isn't your typical think positive nonsense. It's not about pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about turning your perception into a weapon. When everything's falling apart, most people get hit by pain, and they let it consume them. They take it in, they become it, and they drown in it. But a mind trained in reframing doesn't just absorb the pain. It transforms it into power, in real time. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you start asking, "What part of me is being reshaped right now?" Instead of saying, "This broke me," you say, "This revealed what I'm not." You stop thinking, "I can't take this," and start asking, "What will I become because of this?" Here's the truth, your brain doesn't just react to the world around you. It reacts to the story you tell yourself about it. Change that story, and you change the outcome. Reframe the experience, and the pain becomes something far greater than suffering. It becomes your purpose. This isn't about ignoring the pain. It's about transforming it. You don't bury the wound, you direct it. You're not numbing yourself, you're sharpening your focus with ruthless clarity. This is the foundation of inhuman strength. When you learn this, you stop spiraling. You stop playing the victim. You stop begging life to be easier and start demanding that you become harder to break. And once that clicks, nothing outside of you has any power over you, because the battle will no longer depend on what happens to you, it will depend on what you do with it. Now, let me show you 5 drills to master this brain hack. You're not just reacting to life. You're rehearsing for it. This tactic builds what I like to call a psychological pre-response library. So, when real pressure comes, your brain's already been there. It's already lived through it. The brain doesn't fully distinguish between something imagined and something real. That's why visualizing high-stress events, when you're calm and centered, makes your brain familiar with them. This familiarity means when the real pressure hits, you won't be caught off guard. You'll have already built the mental muscle for it. Start by choosing your emotional Achilles heel. It could be something like public failure, being rejected by someone you admire, or betrayal by someone you trust. Then, step into the strongest version of yourself, the version who can handle that moment. Picture them in that situation. What does their posture look like? How do they carry themselves? What's going on inside their head? What emotions do they allow? What emotions do they reject? This isn't just visualization, it's training your emotional immune system. When pain or pressure hits, you don't break. You activate. You don't just prepare for the battle, you become it before it even happens. When you're triggered, don't react. Stop. Don't say a word. Don't do anything. Not because you're weak, but because you're studying. You're choosing delayed domination over instant emotional reactions. Reacting emotionally gives power to the moment. This drill trains your brain to reroute behavior from the emotional limbic system to the decision-making prefrontal cortex. You're creating space, a gap, between what happens and how you respond. And that gap? That's where control lives. Here's your task: pick 3 small moments every day. Maybe it's when someone interrupts you. Maybe a coworker disrespects you. Or maybe a loved one lets you down. In those moments, don't flinch. Don't defend yourself. Don't express anything. Just stay silent and aware. You don't just react. You process, you take mental notes, and emotionally, you strategize. Then, hours later, you respond, calm, calculated, and surgical. It's a way of building emotional invisibility and psychological dominance. You become unpredictable, and unpredictability is power. Words aren't just affirmations here. They're commands. You don't speak them to make yourself feel better. You speak them to program your mind to operate under pressure. It's repetition. It's wiring your beliefs, especially when adversity tests you. When you say a phrase during moments of stress, your brain connects that phrase to survival. Over time, that phrase stops being a source of anxiety and becomes a trigger for strength. Pick one phrase. Say it when you're tired. When you're disrespected. When you're rejected. Something like, no emotion controls me. Or pain sharpens me. Or I am not reacting. I am rewriting. At first, it's a mental tool. But eventually, that phrase becomes instinct, and instinct is more powerful than thought. Impulse? That's just emotional sabotage trying to take the wheel. Tactical delay is the antidote. It rewires your brain's decision-making system by forcing it to wait. You give yourself time for the emotion to burn off. Strong emotion clouds clear thinking. But waiting, even just 24 hours, allows your brain to recalibrate. So when you act, it's strategy, not emotion. Next time you feel the urge to send that rage text, quit something out of fear, make a dramatic exit, or give in to temptation, don't act immediately. Document your feelings, take note. Let time clear the emotional fog. Then, when you strike or walk away, you'll do so with total clarity. What this builds over time is command over your emotions, impulse control, and psychological power. Others will feel it. They won't understand it. Choose one emotion you've been feeding like it's your personal god. Maybe it's guilt, anger, insecurity, or the constant need for validation. Now, cut it off. No expression. No indulgence. No justifying it. Just complete denial. Cold. Clear. When we overindulge in emotions, they stop being emotions and turn into parasites. You think you're feeling them, but in reality, they're feeding off you. By fasting from that emotion, you expose the addiction. You take back control. You reclaim your emotional sovereignty. Pick the emotion that owns you the most, whether it's guilt, anger, or that craving for validation. For 7 days, when it rises, observe it. Don't react. Don't act on it. Don't feed it. Don't justify it. Instead, journal what it says to you, what it wants you to do, and then, do the complete opposite. By the end of day 7, you'll realize that emotion was never a part of your power. It was feeding on your power the whole time. Now, you own it, or it dies. You're not weak or broken. You're just running outdated software. But what if I told you that your intelligence could be sharpened, enhanced, and reprogrammed into something cold, efficient, and unshakable? What if your understanding of manipulation could be completely reconstructed, turned into a weapon of silent dominance? That's exactly what this next method is all about, whispers of secret, ruthless intelligence and manipulation. Inside this mind-altering guide, you'll discover the Mind Fortress technique that grants you unshakable mental control under chaos, the mastery to manipulate conversations, control perceptions, and understand people at a neurological level. This is the intelligence upgrade that destroys emotional interference. The final leap where your mind evolves past all human conditioning. They told you to be emotional, to react, to beg for logic instead of owning it. But that ends now. It's time to become dangerously intelligent. Read it now. The link's in the comments. This isn't just mental training, it's combat conditioning. Every drill is designed to carve a new identity in the heat of pressure. One that doesn't beg for emotional safety but creates clarity amidst chaos. You're not training to survive the storm. You're training to build the storm, and then walk through it like a winner. You're reclaiming the throne inside your mind. No more giving it to your trauma. No more handing it to your bad habits. No more renting it out to other people's approval. Inhuman strength doesn't come from feeling less. It comes from owning what you feel, and then weaponizing it. The first casualty of extreme resilience isn't weakness. It's memory. The stronger you become, the easier it gets to forget your past pain. You forget how much it hurt. You forget what it cost you to survive. You forget what it was like to be soft, yet still breathing. And that forgetfulness creates blind spots in empathy, in leadership, and in relationships. You stop relating to others. Instead, you start judging them. You look at others breaking down and wonder, why can't they just get up? But the truth is, you've forgotten what it felt like to crawl. And if you forget that for too long, you'll become the very thing that once tried to break you. This time, though, it'll be wearing your face. When you never show weakness, people stop offering you the truth. They don't challenge you. They stop being real with you and just start obeying you. They project fear onto you. You turn into a projection screen for power, not a person. At first, it feels good. No resistance, no vulnerability, no mess. But over time, that control isolates you. You stop getting real feedback. Nobody pushes you. Nobody checks you. No one tells you what you need to hear, only what they think you want to hear. And if that goes unchecked, you don't become wise. You become unteachable. The harder you get, the more you protect yourself, not just from pain, but from connection. You stop letting people get close. You stop letting them see you. You become the strong one all the time. But here's the thing, strength without cracks is just a wall. And a wall doesn't just keep danger out. It keeps everything out. Soon, you'll start to notice something strange. Conversations feel shallow. Intimacy feels distant. Vulnerability feels like a threat to your identity. And eventually, you'll find yourself surrounded by silence. Not because no one's talking, but because you stop letting anyone matter. The final battle isn't out there, it's inside of you. Once you've trained your mind to stay unshakable, once you stop reacting, stop explaining, and stop overthinking, you'll reach a terrifying place. Nothing breaks you, but nothing moves you either. You've built walls so high, even you can't hear your own soul echoing behind them. That's where this next phase begins. Because true mastery isn't just about surviving pressure, it's about surviving your own power without letting it wipe out what makes you human. Anyone can become strong by hating weakness. But staying human when you don't need to be? That's a different level. That's where the greats are separated from the rest. So, let's rebuild the map, one that keeps your spine strong and your heart intact. You've trained yourself to control your emotions. You've reframed pain, you've silenced reactions. But here's the truth, emotion isn't the enemy. Unfiltered, unconscious emotion? That's the problem. Emotions carry messages. When you shut them down completely, you lose the signal, the meaning hidden inside the chaos. The goal now is to listen, without letting them take control. Feel the sadness without letting it consume you. Let anger knock on your door but don't let it in. Let fear speak, but never hand them the microphone. You're the translator now. Extract the meaning from the chaos, not the madness. This is non-negotiable, you can't be hard everywhere and expect to stay whole. The world will push you to show your edge, but your soul needs a place where the blade can be set down. Maybe it's a partner who truly sees you. Maybe it's a journal where you pour out your thoughts in ink. It could be a moment of meditation where the mask comes off. Or a quiet moment with your younger self in silence. That space is sacred. It's not weakness. It's your anchor, the proof that you're still there beneath all the armor. Because if you don't choose where to be gentle, your mind will forget how. When gentleness dies, everything that made your strength worthwhile dies with it. This is the most dangerous trap. You get strong to avoid being manipulated, then you start manipulating others. You go silent to avoid chaos, then silence becomes your weapon. You discipline yourself to avoid pain, then start inflicting that same pain on those who haven't earned their scars yet. The danger? You turn into the very thing you had to survive, and now it wears your face. Now it speaks with your voice. Now it calls itself growth. So take a moment to check yourself. Why am I saying this? Who am I trying to control right now? Am I creating clarity or just making people comply? You can win every argument, but you'll still lose your soul in the process. When no one can stop you, you must stop yourself. When you can justify anything, you need something higher than your ego to answer. Something to hold your code. This is your unbreakable inner law, the rules you write when your mind is calm so you don't betray them. When your ego gets loud, it needs to be checked with specific, ruthless, personal examples. I don't punish others for my past. I never speak to control, I speak to reveal. I don't fake emotions to force connections. If I lose empathy, I lose the game. This is your compass in chaos. The leash that keeps you grounded, tethered to the part of you that remembers your true mission. Without this code, strength will turn into a power addiction, and that addiction? It never ends clean. Here's the last piece you need to understand: you can't grow alone forever. No matter how strong you become, the human need to be seen never dies. It just becomes quieter, so quiet it turns into a silent scream. That's why you must seek out the rare few, those who don't fear your silence, who don't shrink when you don't react. People who challenge your thinking, without needing to fix it. People who see your power and still treat you as an equal, face to face. They don't need you to soften, but they won't let you disappear either. And that's where you'll find your center. Not in the crowd, not in the applause, but in a real, raw connection that doesn't need you to be weak to be human. When you can lead, you can dominate. Walk into any room and control the energy. But if you lose your presence, you'll forget why you built all of this in the first place. Presence is an emotion. It's awareness. It's the part of you that's truly awake, the part of you that remembers what it felt like before the numbness. It's who you were before the silence. It's why you started this journey in the first place. Presence is the pulse beneath the armor. Keep it alive, or you become the armor itself. So here's the truth: you've built the strength. Now, build the discipline to carry it like a weapon, not wear it like a mask. Stay sharp. Stay precise. Stay dangerous, but never stop being human on purpose. Because real power isn't just being cold under fire. It's being warm by choice and still untouchable. That's the real monster. That's the real master.